Hello. Hello.
Hello. Hello. Hello. Is there?
Sir, you are audible.
डॉक्टर क्रोजिया, ये शुरू कब होगा? हेलो.
Hello. Sir, good morning. Can you hear us, sir? Hello.
Good morning, sir. Sir, we are shortly starting the conference. We can hear you, sir.
Yeah, when I requested to delay it for half an hour, no, I have some work, some urgent work which I have left. I will do it after the webinar. How much time it will take?
Sir, 5 to 10 minutes, sir, it will take. So sorry for the inconvenience. Sir, we are waiting for the chairman to join. So sorry for the inconvenience. It will take 5 or maybe 10 minutes. So we can start the conference. Thank you, sir.
I'll wait for 5 minutes. I'll leave.
Sorry, sir. Sir, chief guest is coming, so we will start shortly.
All in this international conference titled Advanced Functional Materials Future Perspective, shortly named as AFMFP 2022. Any problem can be solved by apprehension of advanced functional materials that surrounds us. This is the theme of the conference. Good morning, all of you. I request all the dignitaries to please come on the dais. So with due respect, I take this privilege to warmly welcome Professor Rajiv Ahuja, Director, IIT Ropar, Chief Guest. The S. Sridhar Khan, Chairperson, BOG, NIT, Guest of Honor. Professor B.K. Kanodia, Director, NIT, Professor Shailendra Jain, Director, Site Inaugural, Guest of Honor. Professor Priyak Sood, Chairperson, AFMFP-2022, Site Inaugural. NIT, Professor N.C. Kotyal, Chairperson AFMFP 2022 and Head Chemistry NIT, Professor Ajay Bansal, Registrar NIT. Moving ahead, now I would like to request the worthy Director of NIT, Professor B.K. Kanodia, for the welcome of our Chief Guest, Professor Rajiv Ahuja, Director, IIT. Okay. I request Professor B.S. Kat to please do the floral welcome of Professor Shailendra Jain, Director, Site Inaugural. Thank you very much, sir. Now I would like to request Professor Thank you very much, sir, for the honor. Now I would request Professor N.C. Kotyal, Conference Chair and HOD Chemistry Department, NIT, for the plural welcome of B.K. Kanodia, Director, NIT.
Thank you very much, sir, for the honor. As per our holy tradition, let's seek the blessings from our Vedic goddess of knowledge and arts, Ma Saraswati with Saraswati Vandana, and I would also request all the dignitaries on the dais for lighting of lamp. Thank you, all of you. Now, I would like to invite on stage Dr. Sadika Fuller, Organizing Secretary, AFMFP-2022, for the welcome address and brief introduction of the conference.
Thank you, Pratibha. A very good morning to everyone present here. Respected Shri S.C. Dhalan, POG Chairperson, NIT Jalandhar, Professor B.K. Kanodia, Director, NIT Jalandhar, Professor Rajiv Ahuja, Director, IIT Ropar and Chief Guest for today, Professor Shalinder Jain, Director, Sant Longowal Institute of Engineering and Technology and Guest of Honor for today, Professor C.P. Ramanarayan, Vice Chancellor, Defence Institute of Advanced Technology, Pune, Professor Binayak Abdul Karim, Rector, University of Vijaya, Algeria, Professor Ajay Bansal, Registrar, NIT Jalandhar, Professor N.C. Kothiyal, Head Department of Chemistry, Professor B.S. Kat, Professor Neeraj Sood, Dr. Dalila Hamichi from University of Vijaya, Algeria, Dr. Shalwal Banerjee, Defence Institute of Advanced Technology, Pune, Dr. Rakesh Kumar, all the deans and faculty members present here, and participants and their students. It is my pleasure to welcome you all to this 3-day international conference on Advanced Functional Materials Future Perspectives 2022 on behalf of the whole organizing committee. This conference is a collaborative event organized jointly by NIT Jalandhar, Sant Longowal Institute of Engineering and Technology, Sangrur, Defence Institute of Advanced Technology, Pune, and University of Vijaya, Algeria. This conference covers over 13 major interdisciplinary areas related to advanced materials. Advanced materials are the materials that are specifically engineered to exhibit enhanced properties that offer superior performance relative to traditional materials. It includes semiconductors, biomaterials, as well as smart and nano-engineered materials, which are critical for industries and economy. Today, we are living in a material world, and materials are advancing at an exponential pace. which has made our lives better in many ways, such as making durable products, offering superior performances, etc. The biggest challenge in the definition of the advanced materials comes in regard to sustainability. These materials are an essential factor in helping us build a more sustainable economy through materials for solar panels to create renewable energy materials. I welcome Professor Rajiv Ahuja, Director, IIT Roper, and Chief Guest for today. Welcome, sir. The biggest change in the definition of advanced materials comes in regard to sustainability. These materials are an essential factor in helping us build a more sustainable economy through materials for solar panels to create renewable energy materials, materials to create lightweight cars and increase the range of electric vehicles, batteries, while emitting fewer greenhouse gases and other pollutants. This conference has been planned so that leading scientists and researchers across the world can come to a common platform and discuss the future perspectives of these advanced materials. We are very pleased to announce that in this conference, we have 29 speakers from across the globe, including Professor Klaus Mullen, Director, Max Planck Institute of Polymer Research, Germany, Professor Cosrin McLaughlin from University Paris, Cali, France, Professor S.K. Mehta, Vice Chancellor, Ladakh University, and many other leading researchers in the field of advanced materials. A total of 200 participants have registered from various national and international institutes and will be presenting their work through oral and poster presentations. Over the course of these 3 days, participants and experts will present their latest findings and future directions in the various fields of the materials and will have an opportunity to interact with expert researchers from various parts of the world. Once again, I welcome you all to this international conference and I wish everyone a successful, safe and fruitful conference. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Now I would like to request the worthy director of NITJ, Professor B.K. Kanodia, for the floral welcome of our chief guest, Professor Rajiv Ahuja, Director, IIT Roper.
Thank you very much, sir, for the honor. Now I would request all the dignitaries to kindly release the souvenir of the conference.
Thank you all. Now, I would like to request Professor Shailendra Jain, Director Site Longowall, to please come on the dais for his address to the conference.
Honorable Professor Rajiv Ahuja ji, Director IIT Ropar and Chief Guest of today's program. Shri S.C. Radhan ji, Honorable Chairman Board of Governor NIT Jalandhar. Professor Vinod Kumar Kanodia ji, Honorable Director NIT Jalandhar. Madam Professor Dheeraj Sood, Chairperson of this particular conference and co-host of this particular event, Slide Longowal. Professor B.S. Kath, Chairperson of the conference, NIT Jalandhar. Professor N.C. Kothiyal, Chairperson. Professor Ajay Bansal, Registrar of NIT Jalandhar. Dr. Rakesh and Dr. Sadhika, coordinator of this particular event. Respected faculty colleagues, guests, participants, and dear students. I welcome you all on the inaugural function of International Conference on a very relevant theme, Advanced Functional Materials, Future Perspective. It's indeed a matter of pride for me to be here as a part it's really commendable to organize, to expand the team and come together for the common cause. We are having a special mandate. The institute was established 30 years back with a mandate to bring the youth with average academic background in the main stream of technical education through skill development. I can proudly say this is the mandate of new education policy. And I feel proud that whatever the mandate and the main concept of new education policy is there, Slide Longowal is working on the same concept of multi-entry, multi-exit pattern since last 30 years. We admit the students after 10th through our certificate and diploma program. Will have the option to exit with certificate after 2 years, option to exit after 3 years with diploma, and lateral entry in second year we do our own entrance test of academically sound students. This is what NEP is talking about, that we can have the option to enter into the educational institution as and when a student wish, and the flexibility to go out. And the main philosophy, the main concept is skill development. Yes, we have bigger challenges these days. The theme is very relevant. I congratulate the organizers for giving a wonderful theme, advanced functional materials. We are working hard since years. But my dear friends, if you are pushing a wall from morning to evening, sun rises from east, set in west, and we are happy. हम अपनी पीठ थपथपाते हैं, हमने बहुत काम कर लिया. Pushing the wall. So basic philosophy, basic principle of physics. Work done is force into displacement. Until unless we do not have the displacement, there is no purpose, no utility of force or energy applied for a particular task. In the displacement we are talking about these days in terms of outcome-based education. Here is the outcome of this particular theme. There is a challenge for all stream of engineering, whether it is civil or electrical or electronics or mechanical, think for materials that can be used for sustainable development. We all know we are using plastic. We have suddenly increased the use of plastic. It is convenient. It is easy. And suddenly every aspect, every component, material, products used somehow contain plastic. Recently, Government of India has banned some items, single-use plastic we cannot use. Now there is an opportunity for us. We have to think it as an opportunity. Rather, what we do, we start criticizing the government. How it is possible? ये कैसे होगा? As a technical fraternity, we have to see the challenges in all these options. We have to come with alternative materials. हमको सोचना होगा कि क्या alternatives हो सकते हैं of the plastic. I recently had an experience. मैं मार्केट गया, कुछ सामान खरीदना चाहता था. I was not having the bag. हमारी आदत नहीं है. मैं अप्रिशिएट करना चाहता हूं हमारे बुजुर्गों को, जब वो घर से निकलते थे तो एक बैग साथ में लेकर चलते थे. We are considered to be a modern generation. हमको बैग लेकर चलने में शर्म आती है. मुझे याद है मेरे दादाजी घर से निकलते थे, वो अपना लाठी ढूंढते थे, साथ में एक बैग ढूंढते थे. कई बार नाराज होते थे, बैग ला कर दो. बैग लाकर देने में देर होती थी, वो नाराज होते थे. हम लोग इरिटेट होते थे, अरे क्या दादाजी परेशान कर रहे हैं. अब मैं समझ पा रहा हूं हमारे सीनियर्स की सोच. हमने खाली हाथ चलना शुरू कर दिया, बैग पैक बना लिया ताकि हैंड्स फ्री रहे, ईयरफोन लगा लिया so that we can enjoy every moment of time. पड़ोस में लोग देख रहे हैं, कहते हैं ये आदमी पागल है, खुद से बातें करते हुए चल रहा है. This is the scene. आप लोगों ने देखा होगा. मैं सुबह कल शाम को इवनिंग वॉक कर रहा था, मैंने देखा स्टूडेंट्स ईयरबड्स लगाए हुए हैं, चले जा रहे हैं, गुनगुना रहे हैं, किसी से बात भी कर रहे हैं. मैं देख रहा था किससे बात कर रहे हैं. Yes, of course, we have to be modern. We have to use the technology. But please do not forget the culture of this country. The philosophy to use and reuse. मुझे एक कहानी याद आ रही है. हमारी जनरेशंस में जब पैंट शर्ट कपड़े पुराने हो जाते थे तो उसका हम बैग बना लिया. यस, हम उसको रीयूज करने के लिए बाद में कुछ और तरीके से उपयोग करते थे. उसी कपड़े की गेंद बनाकर हम खेला करते थे. Recycling of the product. We have to think for these kind of issues where जब हम नेचर से कुछ एक्सपेक्ट कर रहे हैं तो that has to be optimized. That is the challenge for all of us. I'm sure the deliberations made will be exhaustive and real interdisciplinary in real sense. An opportunity for all stream of engineering to think for applications for reusable materials which can be used with sustainability. Thank you. I wish to congratulate once again the organizing team, and thanks to team of NIT Jalandhar for giving an opportunity for Slide Inaugural to be the co-host of this particular institution, this event. I hope that will have the fruitful association in future as well. कनौज जी साहब से मेरी मुलाकात कुछ दिनों पहले हुई थी, तब उन्होंने यही कहा था कि आप एमओयू साइन करिए, हम ज्वाइंट एक्टिविटीज क्या कर सकते हैं। मैडम से डे बिफोर यस्टरडे शी केम टू मी, सर हम चल रहे हैं, एमओयू साइन कर सकते हैं। मैंने कहा यस इट इज ड्यू। मुझे याद आए सर के सब कि सर इंतजार भी कर रहे होंगे। यस विल डेफिनेटली टेक इनिशिएटिव। Once again, congratulations to organizing team and thank you very much and best wishes for the successful completion of this event. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for your thought-provoking address. Now I would like to request Professor B.K. Kanodia, Director NITJ, to share his views. Sir, please.
So good morning to everyone. So our honorable POG chairman, Mr. S.C. Dalanji, our chief guest, Professor Rajiv Ahuja ji, Director, IIT Ropar, Professor Sailen Jain, Director, Strike Longwal, Professor C.P. Ramnarayan ji, Vice Chancellor, DIET Pune, Professor B.S. Kair, Professor N.C. Nordial, and Professor Dheeraj Sood. So chairperson of this conference, and Dr. Rakesh Kumar and Dr. Satya, coordinator of this conference, and our dear friend and dean and HOD and participant and students and media persons. Good morning to everyone. It is a matter of pride that a Department of Chemistry, NIT Jalandhar, is organizing this important event, International Conference on Advanced Functional Materials Future Perspective 2022. In a collaboration of a Slide Longwal, Defense Institute of Advanced Technology Pune, University of Bajaj, Algeria, such collaboration activities are essential for academic enrichment and research development, enhancement of the organization in a particular and national in a general. Such regular academic and research and development activity lead towards the global sustainable development which is need of the arts. The present era is the age of smart materials. The materials which can behave as per our requirements. For example, smart textile technology is very important for a defense sector for any nation. Controlled and sustainable drug delivery to chronic patient through a smart material is another important era. Such materials are having a great impact in a diverse field of significance like a tissue engineering, industrial influence treatment, in a prevention of a oil spill hazards in the ocean, in a petroleum industry for a recover of a petroleum fractions, in a biomedical for a fractions of artificial organs and artificial self-healing tissues. They are a great important in a agriculture sector for a country. We delivered to a plants with a optimum dose, and there will be a no soil contamination, no underground water will contaminations, no biomagnifications, and no atrophication. In the current era of medical science and engineering, agriculture and space science all revolve around the fractions materials, modern electronics devices, portable computers, electrical vehicles, self-healing materials, in tissue engineering and space vehicle are encompassed with advanced fractional materials. As long as we know how to access this technology, it can be used and proved to benefit the people of all ages greatly. Thus, such advanced materials are emerging material for a modern technology advancement. We hope that this three-stage international conference would help participants and students to enhance their knowledge, horizon, and will get a better exposure in the field of science and technology. I welcome, on the behalf of NIT Jalandhar, all the eminent speaker and guests and participants from all over the world to share their knowledge and vast experience with the participants as well as a student community. NIT Jalandhar has been organized such events regularly and these have contributed significantly in achieving respectively national and international ranking of the institute. I congratulate the Department of Chemistry NIT Jalandhar as well as a collaborative institute for organizing this prestigious conference. I strongly believe that this event would strengthen our academic and research endeavor toward the societal welfare. Thank you. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat, Vande Mataram.
Thank you very much, sir, for such an inspirational words. Now, I would request Sri S.C. Ralhan, Chairperson BOG NITJ, for his words.
On behalf of organizing committee, I would like to invite all. On behalf of organizing committee, I would like to invite Honorable Chairperson Shri Subhash Chandra Lalan for his motivating words. So, sir, over to you.
Hello, do you hear me?
Yes,
Hello?
sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You are audible, sir. You are audible, sir. Yes, sir. You are audible, sir. Yes, sir. You are audible, sir.
Sir, you are audible.
Well, I don't know. I can't hear what is going on. Anyway, good morning to everybody, all the seniors and the faculty, all the faculty members, deans, everybody. It gives me immense pleasure that the Department of Chemistry, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar National Institute of Technology, Jalandhar is organizing this international conference on advanced functional material future perspective from August 6 to 8 in collaboration with the Defense Institute of Advanced Technology, Pune. Sant Longowal Institute of Engineering and Technology, Longowal and University of Beijing. Friends, the trends of the material research have now been moving from the structure to the functional material. And this is a very long research, and this is the requirement of the time. Well, I wish to congratulate the organizers of the conference and the Department of Chemistry, NIT Jalandhar, for bringing the four organizations together at one platform and also choosing an emergency theme area of the conference. Fostering collaboration will definitely create many opportunities for new innovations that might create a huge impact in your respective fields of research. This will also lead towards many new ideas for human welfare. I'm sure that the conference will provide an excellent opportunity for researchers from all over the world to present their work and participate in the wide range of discussions on the subject. I extend my good wishes and all the best wishes to the organizers and all the success for the conference. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir, for your kind words. Now I would request Professor Rajiv Ahuja, Director IIT Roper, Chief Guest of the conference, for his address. Sir, please.
Good morning. First of all, I will say sorry that I was delayed a little bit. And actually, I got today a new driver, and he doesn't know where he's at. So that was a delay, and please excuse me for that. Because that's what we learned. I was living last 30 years in Europe, that everything should be on time. So I feel very sorry for that. To start with, I would like to thank the director, Vinod Kumarji, and Shailen Kumarji. I met him here, and all the people on the dais, and especially the BOT chair, Ralanji, because I used to meet him during the BOT meetings. And I would also like to thank the organizing committee, and especially the chemistry department. And I came to know one of the organizers, he was before in IIT Roper. So it's great that people from IIT Roper are well established in other institutions also. When I got this invitation actually for this conference, actually this is my area of research. And since last 30 years, I have published more than 1,000 papers in the area of material science. And we learn a lot. So, and I want to bring this expertise to India actually. When ministry asked me to join one of these IITs, actually I got a first invitation for one of the oldest IIT in India. So I was very hesitant to go there. So when they asked me, okay, come to this new generation IITs, so I accepted that. Because when you go to the older institution, there are a lot of things you cannot do actually. Their things are well established. But when you come to the newer institution, you can change the system. You can set your own guideline, your own goals, and that's very easy to do in a new institution. So I took this as a challenge for next 5 years and see how far we can go at IIT Roper. So I joined IIT Roper only last year itself. When I arrived first time here in IIT Roper, So I had my first interview with the All India Radio, and they asked me, tell us, sir, why India is not getting Nobel Prize. If you look at the Nobel Prize, because it's given by Sweden, so he wanted to ask me just before the announcement of the announcement of the Nobel Prize last year. So I told that Nobel Prize is given for the basic sciences, and that we are neglecting in India. So we have to make our basic science very strong. And if you go also, if you see that when we say that IITs are doing good, you can see that each IIT, physics, chemistry, mathematics, they are a separate department, not as a part of one department called applied sciences. So if you have to make our basic science strong, we have to put a lot of emphasis on the basic science. And when IITs was set up, this was the only one main aim for setting IIT was to give engineering education, science-based engineering education. So you can see that research was a very important part of the IIT culture. So we have to do 50% of our time towards the research. So research is an important part, and when we talk about today's topic about advanced functional materials, in India, we are only running about IT. We are not realizing that what is else is more important than IT. If you go to on the street of, I say in Sweden, for example, and you ask any minister, what will be the Nobel Prize next year? He will close the eyes, he will say that in material science. Everybody knows how important are materials. And I can see that in IITs also, NITs also, we are not putting focus on material science. We don't have a dedicated department of material science. Only few institutions has. So we have to make our material science very strong, and we should have a material science as a separate department where we can do this kind of work. Of course, we can do the interdisciplinary work and combining chemistry, physics, and other areas of the technology. We always say that when we're talking about functional materials or anything what we are doing in material science, this is nothing but it's a material chemistry. So we all are doing material chemistry, and we want to do that. We want to find advanced materials for future energy application. It could be the batteries or solar cells, or you can name it. Because we want our computer should be lighter, and we want to have a lot of application we can do on our phone without charging our mobile phone. But we are not putting focus on the hardware part. So we are always talking about IT part, or the software part. So we have to put a lot of focus on the material science. And I always say that India can lead only with the 2 points and with the 2 mantras. I always say, I always say in IIT Ropar also, or wherever I go, I always say that there's only 2 mantras for India to be succeed as the world leader. One is innovation and other is collaboration. So when you come to any institute or any department, you should forget about word I. We should always say we will do it. So that's collaboration is very important. I can tell you because I learned a lot with this collaboration. Otherwise, I cannot have more than 1,000 publications. if I do everything with I will do it. So we have to work in a collaboration. We have to work in a team, and that is very, very important if you want to be successful in the research career. So, and that can lead development of the new materials, what you are talking, because if I can collaborate and not only my area of expertise will enhance, but my knowledge will also enhance. And when we are doing research or when we are teaching also, and you should also, here you are all, most of them, or you are a PhD student, and PhD should be in the front. So you should be the leader and you should be the source of the collaboration. So collaboration should come from you as a PhD student. I get a lot of my collaboration because of my students. So when we are in Uppsala in Sweden, so our PhD students are free to talk to any PhD student. And then they will come to you and they will say that, okay, this group is doing that thing, can we do together? Then we as a supervisor, we talk. So we have to bring this culture. Another thing is that in Indian academic system, we are missing the industry, which we don't miss in the Western countries. So here, industry and academic institution, they don't talk. They are not on the same platform. So that is also important when we talk about the advanced method development. Right now, you can see that the big companies, what they are not doing any R&D here. But when we were abroad, we were part of in companies. We were so strongly interact with the companies, and the universities are having a mentor industries. For example, for our university, it was ABB. So we get a lot of, if you know, the ABBs are one of the world leaders, and then some big, these are Volvo, these are all our mentoring companies. So they come every time to you and ask, okay, this is my problem. Can you solve it? Can we work together? So I will not take much of your time because one thing we should not forget about the basic science, as I told. And I always say that the basic science is the mother of innovation. We are talking nowadays every time, innovation, patent, everything. And we should be, what you can say that we should make a startup. And for being a startup, starting startup and being innovative, you have to make it strong, the basic science. Otherwise, you cannot be innovative. I can ask you even here, which area, for example, who will get next Nobel Prize? Soon it will be in October, you will hear the announcement. And you will immediately say maybe somebody from US will get or somebody from Europe will get. But you will never think that India or any Asian countries get Nobel Prize except Japan. So basic science is very important, and those countries who are most innovative countries in the world, they are very strong basic sciences. If you look at the innovation index, the small countries, European countries, they are much, much better in top 10. You can talk about Finland, Sweden, Denmark, they are in top 10 in innovation countries, innovative countries. And their population is less than the population of Delhi. So they put a lot of emphasis on basic science, and they never cut the money in research on basic science. They will cut money on applied sciences or engineering, but they never cut money on the basic science. So basic science is very important, and collaboration is very important, and then you can be innovative. And one last thing I would say that work in a team, work in a collaboration. And we all institution, at least in this part of the India, in the northern India, we should all work together. And we should all write a common application. So, and we should try to take, when we take PhD student, we should have a co-supervisor from other department or our department or even outside institution. That will increase the visibility of your work and it will give you the automatic collaborations. And put PhD students in the front. They should be the leader, not the faculty should be the leader. So with that in the mind, we can promote our young generation. They are the future. So they have to lead the research also. And with that, I will stop here and I will congratulate again the Department of Chemistry for taking this initiative. Actually, last week I was in a BOG in ISER, Mohali, and then there some people were told me that, sir, are you coming? I said, where? We saw your name there. So I saw there are many people coming for this conference also for ISER Mohali. So try to work with ISER Mohali or INST or IIT Roper. We should work together. And now there's another mission which we are always talking about, the semiconductor mission especially. We should make a team, and more part of the India should lead for this semiconductor initiative which government want to put. So I congratulate all of you who are here. I hope this 2-day conference, 3-day conference will be a fruitful conference. And when I say it's a collaboration is very important, so I'm sure you will make a lot of collaboration in this conference, and which can be done a real collaboration, not just you talk here and then you disappear. So keep this in mind and talk to each other. Bring this collaboration to your institute when you go back to your institute and work as a team. And thank you for inviting me here, especially your director. And I met him first time actually 2-3 weeks back actually in Banaras. So I was so impressed that now you have a young director and you will take your institute to the next level. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir, for your precious words. Now, I would request Dr. Rajesh Kumar, Organizing Secretary, AFMFP-2022, for a vote of thanks.
Good morning, one and all present here, and greetings of the day to all the participants, all the dignitaries, and all the eminent speakers who have connected to us from all across the world. This gives me an immense pleasure to present the vote of thanks for the natural session of this very important event, AFMFP-2022. On behalf of the whole organizing team, I express my sincere thanks and gratitude to the chief guest, Professor Rajiv Ahuja, Director IIT Roper, for gracing this occasion. Thank you very much, sir. On behalf of the local organizing committee from NIT Jalandhar, I thank our guest of honor, Professor Rajendra Jain, Shailendra Jain, Director, Slide Roper, for gracing this occasion. Thank you, sir, very much. We are also thankful to Shri S.C. Ralan, Chairman, BOG, NIT Jalandhar, who has connected to us through the online mode. And special thanks to Professor B.K. Kanodia, Director, NIT Jalandhar, not only for presiding over this event, but also for providing the necessary support and the motivation for organizing such events. Thank you very much, sir. We are also thankful to our special guest and one of the chairpersons of the conference, Professor Dheeraj Sood. She has traveled all the way from Slide early morning to grace this occasion. Thank you very much, ma'am. And also we are thankful to the coordinators of this conference who also traveled from Slide, Dr. Payal Malik and Dr. Himanshu Rani. NIT Jalandhar and Department of Chemistry also thank the dignitaries of the collaborating institutions, Dr. K. Radhakrishnan, Chairman UM Slide Longowar, Dr. C.P. Ramanarayanan, Vice Chancellor, Defense Institute of Advanced Technology, Pune, Dr. Binake Abdel Karim, Rector, University of Bejaja, Algeria. Chairpersons of this conference, Professor N.C. Kotyal, Professor E.S. Cap from NIT Jalandhar, Professor Dheeraj Sood from Slide Longowal, Professor Dalila Hamiche from University of Bejaja, Algeria, Dr. Shaiwal Banerjee from DIET Pune are also gratefully thanked for their directions and valuable inputs. Co-chairpersons of the conference, Professor Harish Chopra from Slide Longowal, Professor Rampal from Slide Longowal, Dr. Abdul Kareem Balsimane from University of Bethaya. They are also thankful for their support in organizing this conference. I also thank my fellow coordinators and co-coordinators, Dr. Sajida Kudar, Dr. Himanshu Rani, Dr. Satyane Fatmi, Dr. Vikram Jeet Singh, thank you very much. He is a special coordinator of this conference. Dr. Vimal Kumar Bhardwaj, Dr. Hemant Kumar from Slide. And I am really grateful to all the speakers who have really accepted our invitations without caring for the time of presentation, because some of them have joined from Europe, from Iraq, from Algeria or some other parts of the world, and they have not cared for the time. When they will be presenting here in the daytime, it will possibly be 1 o'clock at night there. I'm really grateful to all of them for accepting our invitation to present in the conference. The team of technical experts for web designing and putting things together. Dr. A.P. Sharma from Computer Science Department at NIT Jalandhar, Mr. Bhupender Jeet Singh, Scientific Officer, and Mr. Dulwant. He has put a lot of efforts in designing the web. Very special thanks to the most important contributors for organizing this event, the research scholars of Department of Chemistry. Thank you very much, and all the staff, office staff for putting it together. And of course, the most important parts of the conference are the participants. Without their participation, the conference you cannot imagine. I am grateful to all the participants from India, from other parts of the world, for really, expressing their enthusiasm in participating in this very important and very, meaningful conference, AFMFP-2022. The team also thank all the teams, HODs, fellow faculty members, research scholars, students, and staff present here today to grace this occasion and also to contribute for this function. And I would like to apologize if I miss some names. I would really apologize for that. Thank you very much, everyone, and wishing you all a very great time and a good health. Thank you so much. And I would request everyone to please stand up for the national anthem.
रमण अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंधु इंद्र हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तब शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तब जय गाथा जन गण मंगल दायक जय भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे जन गण मन
So I request the dignitaries for joining us for the cup of tea, and I also request the participants to start the session 1 and stay on the same lane, because session 1 will start on the same lane. So
Thank you, sir.
Hello, ma'am. Hello, ma'am. Hello. We have proceed to next Zoom session, or we wait for in this session? Okay.
Participants, I would like to announce that we'll be starting the session within 5 to 10 minutes shortly. Just be on the link, please.
Hello, ma'am. Hello. Hello, ma'am. Hello.
Yes, sir. Sir, we will be starting the session with within 10 to 5 minutes. 5 to 10 minutes we'll be starting the session.
Hello, ma'am. Myself,
Yes.
Dr. I.D. Sharma is speaking.
Yes, sir.
My name is not scheduled.
Okay, sir.
I have already conveyed to Professor Ketsab regarding my presentation. My presentation is MEOP13, but that one is not scheduled in any day.
Sir, we will look after it. We'll be checking the schedule again and then I'll be updating you afterwards.
But you are not audible to me.
Sir, now am I audible?
No, your voice is very poor.
Hello, sir. Am I audible? Hello.
No, you are audible, but your voice is very poor.
Yes, sir.
You need to turn off other mics. Only one mic would work at the same time.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Professor Kestab already convey me that I discussed to coordinator, conference coordinator, maybe Dr. Rakesh Kumar or some other one. So, but till no, I have not convey regarding my presentation at presentation slot. Okay.
Okay, sir. I'll speak to Dr. Rakesh after this. I'll put words to him for regarding this issue.
Okay.
And we will update all the things.
Okay.
As early as possible.
Yeah.
Okay, sir.
I have sent all the dojers regarding the registration and fee submission to Professor Kesh, sir.
Okay, sir. Okay.
इसमें नहीं आ रही है ना मेरे को, क्योंकि आपने दूसरे उससे किया ना, तो हमें यहाँ से बैकग्राउंड के साथ है ना।
Am I audible? Hello? My voice is audible?
Yes, it is.
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Thank you. यहाँ से दे दूँगी, कल से मैं लेके जाऊँगी।
Video है।
दूसरी आ रही है या आपको नहीं आई।
नहीं ऐसा यहाँ से सही आ रहा है यहाँ आपको अच्छा यहाँ एक्चुअली
ठीक हो जाएगा नहीं तो आप ये इस पे कर तब तक मैं यहाँ पे सीधा है
I welcome you all as a session coordinator in this international conference, AFMFP 2022 Session 1. I would first like to introduce our session chair, Professor B.S. Kath. Professor Kath is higher administrative grade professor. Dr. Kath is ranked among the top 2% scientists of the world as per the survey conducted by Stanford University, US. Professor Balbir Singh Kath joined NIT Jalandhar in 2007 as professor of chemistry. He has published more than 260 research papers in international journals of repute, SCI and Scopus. He has produced 25 PhD students and 4 are in the pipeline. His citation index is 8,622, H index 46 and I-10 index 148. He is also the recipient of ICC Award 2018, NIT Jalandhar Best Teacher Award 2018, Tim Science Congress Fellow of the Year Award 2013-14, NIT Hamirpur Commendation Award 2003, Excellence in Science Award, IUC Award. Over to you, sir, for the further proceedings. Thank you very much.
Today's good morning, everybody. Hello. Good morning, everybody. Today's keynote speaker is Professor S.K. Mehta. Professor S.K. Mehta, a Fellow Royal Society of Chemistry, FRSC, is Vice Chancellor, University of Ladakh, UT, and Professor at Department of Chemistry, ex-Chairman Chemistry, ex-Director SAF, CIL, UICM, Punjab University, Chandigarh, India. He is among the world's top 2% scientists declared by Stanford University in 2021. He is highly active in significant areas of research like metallosurfactant chemistry, nanoelectrical sensors, synthesis, and applications of semiconducting nanoparticles and colloidal chemistry, nanodrug delivery systems. He has more than 381 publications in international journals of repute with H index of 59. Citation index 10,801. I-10 index 243, and is an author of about 25 books and chapters. He is recipient of renowned DARD and GSPS Fellowship, bronze medal from Chemical Research Society of India, CRSI. His authors awarded by Royal Society of Chemistry, UK, Haryana Vigyan Ratna Award, Professor W.U. Malik Memorial Award of Indian Council of Chemists, and STE Award. He has been a visiting scientist to UK, Germany, Japan, US, and France, and has guided 15 postdoc and 49 PhDs and 50 master students. And he has handled about 20 research projects. Now I request Professor S.K. Mehta to deliver the keynote address, please. Professor S.K. Mehta, please.
Thank you, Professor Kent. Thank you for the kind invitation and good morning to everyone. And I think there is a little delay. So, but anyhow, first of all, I congratulate the organizing committee for organizing such a wonderful international conference, which is need of the art and this advanced functional materials. I think future perspectives are very important to know and to understand. And I was also listening Professor Rajiv Ahuja, your director IT Ropar, he very nicely emphasized that it's the era of collaborations. We need to collaborate with each other because at some places the facilities are not up to date, or there are less facilities are there. Some other places facilities are good, but there are no people to work. I mean, then the collaboration will give the opportunity to people who want to work, but they don't have the facilities, or they don't have the access to instrumentation, particularly high-end instrumentation. Because I know as the director of the SAP Center at University of Punjab University, we were dealing with high-end instrumentation, and we could see that people rush to use the instruments because at their places instruments may not be available. So these things are very important, and I'm really grateful to the chemistry department particularly. And also I heard that Longowal Institute is also a partner. So Dr. Dheeraj Sood, sometime back she visited Ladakh also. So it's a player to be part of this very important international conference. Since the session is delayed, I will cut short my presentation because I have another very important meeting here. As Vice Chancellor, you know that you have so many other things to see, and the meetings are fixed, and therefore what I do is I'll first share my PPT. Can you allow me to? Okay, I can share. PPT is visible, please. Hello?
Not sir, not sir.
Not yet. Oh, just a minute.
Hello?
Yeah.
You're audible, sir?
Yeah, I'm audible. I can hear you.
Yes, sir.
But you said PPT you could not see.
Yeah, PPTs are not visible. डॉक्टर साहब शेयर कीजिए ना आप.
ओके.
ग्रीन पॉइंट पे शेयर कीजिए. हाँ जी, हाँ जी.
अब आप
Yeah, it's visible now.
Okay, okay. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir. No problem.
Thank you. Okay. So to begin with, this is as I mentioned, this is a very important conference.
Yeah, you can begin, sir.
Yeah, for this, I chose some work which we did not very long back, and it pertains to Staubern-mediated porous metal oxide nanocomposites, and nanocomposite efficacious, catalytic materials. So this is the recent work we did some time back. And, before I show you a few slides of us, about the work, since I am at the University of Ladakh, Ladakh, many people must have visited, but very briefly, in a couple of slides, I would like to show a few pictures and tell you about Ladakh and University of Ladakh. You can see the beautiful pictures. This is Ladakh only. And Ladakh basically is located in Trans-Himalayan ecosystem in a cold, arid desert. And, most elevated inhabited regions of the world. Leh district is scattered, what we say, in an area of around 82665 square kilometers. And that includes the some area which China has already occupied, and this is 37,555 square kilometer, which is with China. And it's at the altitude ranging between 2,900 meter to 5,900 meter. It is one of the largest districts in India with 119 inhabited villages. The university came into existence in 2019, and there was no university earlier at Ladakh. So this is the first university which came into existence. And the main idea was to have, an initiative to promote quality higher education, particularly in the Ladakh region, because this region was deprived of higher education. There are 6 existing colleges of Leh and Kargil, because as you know, Ladakh overall Ladakh is constitute main two districts. One is Leh, one is Kargil. So Kargil district and Leh district total is called Ladakh. So 6 colleges are also attached with the university, and the aim is to have this as a leading university of the country, offering high quality, innovative, and responsive education. There are many courses which we are running, almost 22 courses. There are 2 campuses, one at Leh and another is Kargil. And mixture of different types. We have science courses, also humanities, and language courses also. And more and more courses are added as the progress goes on. And Ladakh is a beautiful place to visit, and it's a joint capital of largest town of the Union Territory of Ladakh, which is Leh. And Leh is located in the Leh district. Leh is basically a city. There are historical aspects also, and because every place was controlled by a king, and we have former residents of royal family of Ladakh also. It was built in the same style and about the same time as we call Potola Palace in Tibet. So there are a lot of similarities with Tibet. And the city is located at the bank of Indus River. Indus River is also very famous. So mountain dominate the landscape around Leh, as it is at the altitude of 3,500 meter peaks. And these peaks are just like Nanga, Sago, and can reach well above 5,500 meters. So 5,500 meter. There is place called Khardungla, where you can go and enjoy the surrounding. Principal access roads includes the 434-kilometer Srinagar-Leh highway, which connects Leh with Srinagar, and 73-kilometer Leh-Manali highway, which connects Manali with Leh. So they are open in the seasons. In winter, these roads are closed. So you can have a beautiful picture here. It's very picturesque. And climate is very, very cold climate. In summertime only it's a good weather, but in winter it goes to -25, -30. But it looks so beautiful. You can see the picture. These are monasteries. There are so many monasteries where you can visit. So I think I can invite all of you to visit Leh Ladakh and enjoy. This is a very beautiful part of the world. So to start with the topic which I have chosen, I'll just touch upon what are porous materials, because all the study, is related to the porous materials. You can see in the picture macropore, mesopore, and in the mesopore you have micropores also, and these are 3 types: micropore, mesopore, macropore. And the sizes, as you can see, pore size less than 2 nanometer in micropore, and it is more than 50 in the macropore. And then type of adsorption which is possible in these. It is non-specific, it is specific in the case of mesopore. Potential applications of mesoporous materials. There are many applications. You can use them in adsorption, in sensor studies, chromatography, catalysis, electrochemistry, filtration, and so on. Then, because we used the green method, so I'll just touch upon about the green chemistry. We can say there is an increasing pressure from both society and government for chemistry-based solutions to develop sustainable, eco-friendly products and processes that both reduce waste and prevent toxic substances from entering the environment, because we have to take care of our environment also. Particularly the chemical industry is vitally important in the world economy. All manufacturing is the most backbone of world economy. However, the success of industry has led to a serious environmental damage and a low public perception of the industry. People, they talk that industry is polluting our environment. In order to prevent further environmental damage and to encourage more young people towards green chemistry, the public acceptability needs to be raised by adoption of greener and cleaner processes and green product designs. So we should aspire to maintain and enhance high quality of division of green and sustainable chemistry to enable a, important step change to a low carbon bio-based economy based on core values of high quality, pure and transnational research and education embedded with framework of sustainable development. So that should be the goal. Therefore, in present day context, green chemistry is very, very important. There is a center, a very important center, very famous center, Green Chemistry Center of Excellence at University of York. And, they have been involved in research on the conversion of waste biomass to mesoporous materials. The green approach has provided new technologies for bio-waste utilization and developing future biorefinery systems. And this led to a development of what we call Starbun technologies. Now, Starbun word came from nothing but starch plus carbon. So we call together as Starbun. And star-based mesoporous materials, that is Starbun, due to their unique large pore diameter network, have outstanding potential in a wide range of technologically important applications that is critically dependent on mass transport of chemical to the carbon surface. So in this research, the organization of natural materials at the nanometric level in biological system is utilized to produce the target is mesoporous materials. And it has been shown that this can help to generate systems with same efficiency and selectivity demonstrated by nature. So the target is, whatever nature is producing, we also try to devise the methods and technologies which should, generate systems which are having same efficiency and selectivity demonstrated by nature. Now, the bio-based mesoporic Starbun, the Starbun technology utilizes the natural ability for polysaccharides to retain their organized structure during pyrolysis. And Starbun are novel family of carbonaceous mesoporous materials derived from polysaccharides that consist of a continuum of material obtained at different temperatures. And depending on the Starbun prepared temperature, surface, the surface functionality, that is ranging from hydrophilic, that is low temperature prepared materials, to hydrophobic, that is high temperature prepared materials, can be produced. So technology is basically green. The process avoids the use of harmful chemicals. It is sustainable. Polysaccharides, that is starch or alkalic acid, pectin, hemicellulose, are renewable sources that are widely available in many countries. In India also, many of these are available easily. The methodology is simple, comprising just 3 stages: gelatinization, hydrogenation, and controlled pyrolysis. So the processes are also not difficult, so one can easily use them. And they are environmentally benign and non-persistent, non-bioaccumulative, and non-toxic. So that's why this Starbun, mesoporous Starbun, which is bio-based, is very, very useful for many processes. Now, this is a overview which has been given, that we start with polysaccharide source, and we do the process of extraction, gelatinization, gradation, and we get the polysaccharide gel. And this is all very nicely described in chemical society reviews. And once we get polysaccharide gel, then we after doing the process of drying and solvent exchange, we can get porous polysaccharides, and we can do the carbonization, and we get the product. And this product is tunable porous material, high mesoporosity, high surface area, control electrical property, particulate or monolith form. So this way, this process is very well established, and this can be used to create new materials. If we compare the starch and alginic acid, and we look at the increased level of porosity with each step, when it is in the pure form, whether it is expanded form or carbonized form, you can see the changes which one can see easily. And the changes, basically, when we have influence of temperature and preparation of the starch, so the starbun functionality, the left side you can see mesoporous starch when temperature is increased, and we can convert this into mesoporous carbon. We have shown up to 700 degree temperature, and the stability, as you can see, it is stable in aprotic solvents, alcohol, acetones, and as we go down with the high temperature, stable to acids and basis solutions. So it can be seen that from a starch to graphite-like structure above 700 degrees centigrade, there is a progressive increase in the hydrophobicity of functional groups present. As in the mentioned in the beginning, I also told you that starbun has such mesoporous materials have wide applications, particularly in adsorption, and it can be used for specific adsorption of target molecules from gas mixture, that is pollution control, to aqueous solutions. So these, the detail, I will not go. Starbun have much more micro porosities, which is 8 to 32% compared to 73%, yet, but they have less as such lower microporosity, but they absorb up to 65% more carbon dioxide. So this is very useful for adsorption. Similarly, starbun is an excellent support for heterogeneous catalysis, where its unique and tunable surface characteristics are appropriate for many reactions, including unexpected esterification reactions conducted in aqueous media. Similarly, we have chromatography. Starbun also materials are derived from particularly alginic acid are particularly attractive towards the chromatographic stationary phase materials. Now, one of my students worked in University of York, because in that Green's Chemistry Center, so I have a good collaboration. We have a Professor Avtar Matharu at University of York, and he is my good friend and good collaborator. So our students also go there and work there, and a couple of their students also visited us to do some work jointly. So left side you can see this is the center, the York Center, Green Chemistry Center, and right side Punjab University, because this work has been done in collaboration. And my lab was associated with the Green Chemistry Center. I also visited many times there, and we are doing this joint work together. So just to what my student did, I will just briefly describe that. And basically, starbun technology is established. Only thing what she thought that time, we should sort of modify this, and we should have a molybdenum oxide starbun catalyst for wastewater remediation. So she embedded the molybdenum oxide nanoparticles on starbun, and they used for looking at how organic pollutants can be treated in water. So water is a big problem, particularly in India, not in India, but many places. And you can see these pictures. I think these are well-known pictures. I need not to explain, because everywhere we see these types of pictures where water is intensely polluted. And we as human beings don't care about the environment. And therefore, some people have to drink this type of water, which is undrinkable. But this problem is still going on. Maybe here and there some improvement is there, but still the lot has to be done to tackle these issues. So this is the duty of scientists to devise different methods, different technologies, so that our population, most of the population, should get good drinking water. So there are many water treatment processes. Some are physical, some are chemical and biological, like nanofiltration, reverse osmosis, electrodialysis, are physical methods, and coagulation, flocculation, precipitation, and so on. Similarly, biological methods, these are well known in the literature also. And I mean, many processes have been acknowledged for water treatment, but certainly, somewhere or the other, we find that there is some drawbacks in many methods. So we feel that there is a need for something which follows the following criteria. That is the cost effectiveness. Cost effectiveness is very important. People are not that rich. Large population is, living under the conditions where they cannot afford costly technologies. Then it should be environment friendly. Whatever is the waste we are producing, that should not harm the environment also. And it should be sustainable technology. And the focus should be that, whatever is available locally available and socially acceptable, the products should be, reactants should be available, and that should be used to produce what we call products. Among the intriguing transition metals, molybdenum oxides and its derivatives attract a lot of attention due to unique structural and optical properties. It's a white band gap semiconductor with distinctive electrochromic, thermochromic, and photochromic properties, as is widely investigated as smart materials for catalysis, sensor, lubricants, lithium battery, organic solar cells, and all these the advanced materials which one has to produce. And these are also, many of them are smart materials. There are even certain reports that they show antimicrobial, antioxidant effects. So molybdenum oxides have very important applications. It is not an endangered element for immediate depletion. It's available in plenty. So therefore, its application can be explored without causing any environmental stress. Some of the metals are very in limited availability is there. So there is a danger that one day will come when all those elements will vanish. But this is not the case with the molybdenum. So my student, she did the synthesis and characterization of novel molybdenum oxide nanoparticles, carbon composites. And basically salient features of these composites are: employs biomass for fabrication of composites, uses greener methods adopted for fabrication with minimum waste generation, no use of templating agents to supervise the porosity of the composites, the use of harsh materials, chemicals is prevented. The nanoparticles will act as catalytically active sites for degradation of noxious effluents. The mesoporous matrix will facilitate in adsorption of chemicals through an array of intermolecular interactions, enabling fast accessibility to surface active sites and mass transport. So these are the salient features on which we.
Actually, tower.
Now, there is a brief of how this was produced. We started with ammonium heptamolybdate tetrahydrate, AHM, and using microwave technology, microwave synthesis was done at 140 degree in the acidic environment. We get pure molybdenum trioxide hexagonal nanorods. So this method is also quite already established. Then next was to produce carbonaceous material. And for that, biomass derived cornstarch having BET surface area 0.8 meter square per gram. And after carbonization, we get the mesoporous carbonaceous material, which is called starbon. So starch itself has a low surface area, but its systematic carbonization leads to the formation of mesoporous composites with high surface area. So that is the purpose. When AHM, that is ammonium heptamolybdate tetrahydrate, is mixed with starch, it acts as a template for growth of nanoparticles, restricting the size, that is nanorods to spherical nanoparticles, and preventing any coalescence, because in nanotechnology, coalescence is a big issue. So we have to prevent that. So this is the overall sketch, Highland, this starch was taken with water, and then microwave gelatinization was done, and retrogradation was done, and AHM was added. Then we have freeze drying, we have solvent exchange, and you get pure and molybdenum expanded product. And after carbonization, you get two forms, that is starbon and CMO. So this is a graphical representation how these two are formed. Basically, the hydroxyl ions and hydrogen ions and hydroxyl ions present in the water molecules bind strongly to the nucleates and helps surface coverage. And the hydroxyl ions help in the hydrolysis reaction and dissolution crystallization process. They provide ample amount of collision time, as you can see in the picture, and the rearrangement and steric shielding of nucleation, which in turn helps in growth of nanoparticles. So nanoparticles, good nanoparticles can be produced. So starch basically serves two purposes. One, it acts as a template agent and impedes the directional growth of nanoparticles and forms spherical structure. The normal pH of aqueous starch solution is 5, and it maintains necessary acidic conditions. Now, next step is characterization. I will not take much time, because as I told you, I have another meeting, urgent meeting. So I will just show you a few slides. So this is a comparative IR spectra of pure and metal loaded composites. So all characterization can be done once you have the.
Sir, can you conclude within 5 minutes?
Yeah, please.
Short of time, please.
Yeah.
Yes.
So similarly, we have X-ray diffraction pattern. I will also skip these, I will provide the PPT if somebody is interested, they can see that. And in the table, you can see we have surface area and pore size characterization. And you can see we have compared molybdenum based also with pure and starbon 350 and CMO 350. So you can see there is from pure to molybdenum based, it is you have the increase in the PET, and starbon is also having high surface area 368 meters square per gram. So CMO also 196. Now this is thermodynamic analysis, and then we have this is the comparative analysis we have done. Then XPS analysis was done. So all the characterization needed for characterizing new materials also done. Time analysis you can see for the pure, for this B is starbon, and C is molybdenum based, and third is CMO based. So you can see these nanoparticles are very well visible of molybdenum on starbon. Then they are very stable also, that is proved from our studies. Similarly, to see the pore size, because pore size already we have seen, but their network structure can be seen very easily in these pictures. So EDX was done, and then we use this for, very briefly I'll tell that this was used for the catalytic reduction of para-nitrophenol, and because this is a reaction which is tried by many people when they produce some product and then they try to these. So you can see that 4-nitrophenol transform into 4-nitrophenolate, as one can see in the shift of the peaks. And this reaction was very, very successful using the material starbun which we have produced, molybdenum based on. So these are catalytic study which we did, and we tried to see how much time it takes to complete conversion, 0 to, and so. So we also try to have comparison, try to find out the apparent rate constant also, and we found that it's 11.2. And this is a comparative analysis. You know, our product with the other known one, as you can see, the rate constant is 11.2, except that 63.2, which is palladium based. Our rate constant was good. And now palladium one is not a green approach, but we find that this also gives good rate constant. So this can be acceptable. And overall, I would say that we had a successful synthesis of novel composites containing molybdenum oxide nanoparticles embedded on starbun framework. The process follows in situ green process without the use of any harm chemicals. Molybdenum loading, as evident by ICP-MS, is 179. Then highly efficient catalytic reaction. We can do that, and in comparison to other molybdenum-based composites, material has real-time applications, water treatment such as catalysis, adsorption, and filtration. And I'm very thankful for all of you for patient listening. Although I could have spent more time, but sorry for that. I had to cut short that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for your excellent talk. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hello, am I audible, sir?
Yeah, I can hear you. Thank you. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, sir. I can.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir, for your excellent talk. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you,
everyone. Thank you. Thank you.
Let's have a big hand of applause. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. I'm grateful. Grateful.
Thank you, sir. ये यहाँ से करना next speaker is Professor Gosling McLaughlin.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, you are audible. Let me give you a brief introduction.
Okay.
Gosling McLaughlin is an agro-food engineer, and she has a PhD in biotechnological and food processes from the Institut National Polytechnique de Lorraine. She is associate professor in physics and biophysics at the Faculty of Pharmacy, University Paris Saclay, since September 2006. Her main research activities aim at formulating and characterizing emulsions, nanoemulsions stabilized by biopolymers such as proteins and polysaccharides. The formulated pharmaceutical or cosmetic emulsions are part of the current trend of natural and biodegradable products without synthetic surfactants that are potentially irritating and toxic. She is also interested in formulation of chitosan-based pills as topical dressings. Now I request Professor Gosling McLaughlin to start her talk, please.
Thank you.
Professor
Thank you.
Gosling. Yeah.
Thank you for this nice presentation. Can you see my presentation? Yes. Okay.
Yes, you are audible. You are audible.
Okay. First, I would like to thank the organizing committee for this kind of invitation. As you see, I will present you some results of my study dealing with the stabilization of emulsions by biopolymers as an alternative to synthetic surfactants. The formulated emulsions are mainly intended for topical applications. So we are interested in oil in water nanoemulsions, which are emulsions with mean droplet size lower than 200 nanometers. And we choose this drug delivery system because it has many advantages. Indeed, besides being easy to formulate, nanoemulsions increase the solubility of an active pharmaceutical ingredient and consequently enhance its bioavailability, stability, and permeation, its controlled release, and its protection from enzymatic and chemical degradations. Moreover, the small droplet sizes give to nanoemulsions a kinetic stability and a proved efficiency in improving skin delivery of hydrophobic rugs. However, as for emulsions in general, nanoemulsions are thermodynamically unstable systems, and phase separation occurs because of incompatibility between the aqueous and the oily phases. So we usually use surfactants to stabilize emulsions, and more specifically, synthetic surfactants in the pharmaceutical field. And for the formulation and the stabilization of nanoemulsions, a high amount of surfactants is needed, what can cause skin irritation for long-term treatments. So in our team, we are interested in stabilizing nanoemulsions by biopolymers for pharmaceutical use, and we developed a nanoemulsion stabilized by either protein or polysaccharide to replace or to reduce the use of synthetic surfactants, potentially toxic or irritant. And here we choose a small globular protein extracted from whey named beta-lactoglobulin. The properties and the structure of this protein are well known, and it has 4 structural levels, and it has a hydrophobic core inside its structure, which can play an important role for the interfacial properties of this protein. So this protein has many interesting interfacial properties, such as emulsifying and foaming properties. And the use of this protein allows the formation of oil droplets and enhances droplet stabilization via steric and electrostatic stabilization. On the other hand, we use gum arabic or acacia gum extracted from acacia trees. It's a complex heteropolysaccharide composed mainly by 3 fractions: arabinogalactan proteins, and glycoprotein. It has also many interfacial properties, and it is possible to formulate foams and emulsions stabilized by acacia gum. It is widely used in food formulation as an additive. However, it is less effective than surfactants or proteins. That's why when we use acacia gum to formulate emulsions, we need a high amount of this gum comparing to surfactants and proteins. So these 2 biopolymers were used to formulate nanoemulsions, which are composed by 20% of oily phase and 80% of the continuous phase or aqueous phase. The oily phase is composed by medium chain triglycerides, and the continuous phase is composed either by a solution of the protein or a solution of acacia gum. So nanoemulsions were prepared by adding progressively the oily phase to the continuous phase while mixing using a high shear mixer. We obtain coarse emulsion which is immediately introduced in a high pressure homogenizer for 4 cycles, operating at a pressure of 120 megapascal. And we obtained nanoemulsions. These nanoemulsions were characterized by measuring the mean droplet size, the stability of nanoemulsions over time is followed by visual observations, by measuring the backscattered light and using TurbiScan, and by measuring the mean droplet size. And the stabilization mechanism was determined by combining different interfacial techniques, such as drop shape analysis, Willemy plate method, or interfacial dilational rheology. For this last technique, we form a drop of the first liquid in the second liquid, and we make a sinusoidal variation of the drop volume. And then we measure the elastic and the viscous moduli. And when the elastic modulus is higher than the viscous one, we formed an oil-water interface, an elastic oil-water interface, which means that droplets are resistant to coalescence, and we obtain more stable emulsions. So let's move to some results. As you see here, we obtain nanodroplets nearly twice smaller for nanoemulsion stabilized by the protein than those stabilized by the polysaccharide, which is normal because the protein is smaller molecule than the polysaccharide. However, these nanodroplets are stable over 1 month storage for both systems, and we saw no creaming phenomenon for this 1 month storage. And when we follow the time evolution of the interfacial tension, we see that there is a rapid decrease of the interfacial tension for the system with the protein. So the protein adsorbs very fast at the oil-water interface, while for the system with the polysaccharide, we note a decrease of the interfacial tension after a period of time. So the acacia gum adsorbs very slowly at oil-water interface. Moreover, nanoemulsion stabilized by this protein and the acacia gum showed a great stability owing to the formation of a viscoelastic film surrounding the nanodroplets, thanks to the adsorption of protein of both biopolymers at the interface. And so we obtained emulsion stable against coalescence or Oswald ripening. So the next step of our study was to investigate the potentialities of these nanoemulsions as drug delivery system for hydrophobic active ingredients. For that, I will present you 2 kinds of active pharmaceutical ingredients encapsulated into nanoemulsions stabilized by the protein. So first, we were interested on curcumin. Why? Because this molecule has many biological properties. Curcumin is used to treat cancers, diabetes, arthritis. Curcumin is also used to improve wound healing, mainly because it reduces inflammation and bacterial proliferation. However, curcumin is a highly lipophilic molecule, and its solubility in water is very limited. In addition, curcumin is sensitive to temperature higher than 70 degrees, to basic pH, and to light exposure. Thus, it is easily degraded in aqueous media under these conditions. All these factors indicate that curcumin is a fragile molecule, in addition to being poorly bioavailable. Thus, the use of curcumin in medical and pharmaceutical fields is limited. That's why it will be interesting to encapsulate curcumin into innovative formulations in order to overcome these limitations. And we suggest to encapsulate curcumin into nano-emulsions for a topical application. And the concentration of curcumin here in the oily phase composed by migliol was fixed at 0.25% after an optimization study. So first we characterized nano-emulsions formulated with curcumin appeared yellow, and without curcumin appeared white. So we had two systems, and visually there's no phase separation phenomenon observed in both systems, even at day 80 after the formulation. So both systems were visually stable. And the stability was even followed by measuring the backscattered light throughout the tube containing samples over a period of storage of 80 days. And here arrows show the time evolution of the backscattered light. And we see in both samples a decrease here and an increase of the backscattered light at the bottom and the top of the tube, respectively. Thus, the evolution of the backscattered light indicated a creaming phenomenon in samples during storage. However, this creaming is a reversible phenomenon, as the mean diameter in nano-emulsions with and without curcumin did not significantly evolve over time. So we can say that the introduction of curcumin into the oily phase of nano-emulsion does not interfere with the system, and that formulated nano-emulsions are stable for 80 days. On the other hand, we follow the time evolution of the interfacial tension here, and also the elastic modulus. And we saw for the system composed by the protein alone, as expected, there is a rapid decrease of the interfacial tension, and thus the protein is immediately absorbed at the interface, and there is an immediate elastic behavior. Whereas when we have the system with curcumin alone, curcumin diffuse and absorb progressively to the interface, and the elastic behavior appears gradually. And for the last system composed by both molecules, we see that there is a slight synergy as the elastic behavior is more pronounced. After that, we aim to determine if the encapsulated curcumin can be released from the dispersion phase of the nano-emulsion. For that, we led an in vitro diffusion study over 24 hours at 37 degrees using a France cell device. We put our sample in the donor compartment in contact with a synthetic membrane which mimic the skin. And we put in the receptor compartment a mix of phosphate buffer, ethanol, and surfactant, and also ascorbic acid. And after sampling in the receptor medium at different times, the curcumin concentration was determined by UV visible spectrophotometry. We followed the diffusion of curcumin from two different systems, the curcumin encapsulated into the oily phase of nano-emulsion, and the curcumin solubilized directly in the oily phase. And as we see here on the graph, a cumulated amount of curcumin increased over time, and thus curcumin diffused through the synthetic membrane, both from the nano-emulsion and from the oil in which the curcumin has been solubilized. So nano-emulsion effectively allows a release of the curcumin. In conclusion, we can say that we were able to increase the solubility of curcumin by solubilizing it into the oily phase of an oil in water nano-emulsion. And here, our study shows that the curcumin encapsulated did not disturb the droplet size and the stability of nano-emulsion. And also, we can also say that this drug delivery system allows the in vitro diffusion of the curcumin through a synthetic membrane. So the encapsulation of curcumin in nanoemulsion is an interesting delivery system of curcumin for a topical application. And it will be interesting to study deeper this system, for example, the antimicrobial effects or the skin penetration. So the second example I show you here, we also use this nanoemulsion stabilized by the protein to investigate the potentialities of organic extracts from citrus lemon as new anti-leishmanial active molecules. This work is a fruit of an active collaboration between Université Paris-Saclay in France and Université of Carthage in Tunisia. So leishmaniasis is a topical and subtropical disease caused by a protozoan leishmania parasite and transmitted by the bite of infected female phlebotomine sandflies. This disease affects 12 million people worldwide through its three possible forms, namely visceral, mucocutaneous, and cutaneous. That's why leishmaniasis is identified as a major health problem by WHO. However, leishmaniasis is a neglected disease, and in the absence of a vaccine, current chemotherapy presents several limitations related to toxicity, high cost, risk and relapse, risk of relapse, and even parasites resistant to drugs. Consequently, it is urgent to develop or to discover new drugs, less or non-toxic, more efficient, with limited drug resistance and more accessible and cheaper, which would be mainly accessible for low-income people. And in this context, phytotherapy represents a very interesting alternative in the search for new bioactive molecules which meet these specifications. Indeed, plant extracts are very complex mixture of bioactive molecules endowed with very interesting biological properties. And these molecules act in synergy and additively with each other, which limits the development of resistance and therefore decrease the rate of treatment failure. In our study, we selected citrus lemon for this purpose. It's a tree commonly grown in Tunisia. And in literature, we can find some use of lemon juice in traditional medicine, but very few studies dealt with the anti-leishmanial activity of citrus lemon extract. So first, we evaluated the anti-leishmanial activity in vitro on L major. It's a species of leishmania causing cutaneous leishmaniasis in the north of Tunisia and in the south of France. We evaluated this activity on two different forms of the parasite cycle, the axenic form and the intramacrophagic form. An extract from citrus lemon is considered as active against L major parasite, both on axenic form and on intramacrophagic form. And this good activity is comparable to that of miltefosine, the positive control. Lower, this extract, it is known that plant extracts present some problems, such as a low aqueous solubility and poor bioavailability. They are sensitive to light, oxygen, and heat, and they can degrade early before reaching the target site. That's why we thought to formulate citrus extract, and we choose nanoemulsions as drug delivery system. These systems, extracts encapsulated in nanoemulsions, were tested in vivo on animal model, and we check many parameters such as clinical aspects of lesions, the lesion size evolution, the parasite load, and the histology of infected skin. The results are not published yet. I can tell you that encapsulating citrus lemon extract within the nanoemulsions. I finish.
Dr. Gosling?
Yes?
Yeah, may I request you conclude within 2 minutes, please?
I conclude.
Yeah, because we are running short of time.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. So here I can tell you that encapsulating citrus lemon extract within the nanoemulsion decrease significantly the skin parasite load and lesion inflammation. It also helps lesion healing and decrease side effects of the extract, such as cytotoxicity. So this kind of system is an alternative drug candidate for the topical treatment of L major lesions. So here I can say that we developed interesting drug delivery systems stabilized by biopolymers, mainly by protein for the encapsulation of active pharmaceutical ingredients. However, there is a limitation of protein use because protein has presents immunogenicity. That's why we will develop more nanoemulsion stabilized by acacia gum encapsulating active pharmaceutical ingredients. So thank you for your attention.
Any question, please? Question from the audience. Gosling, there is one participant who is going to ask a question from you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Professor, for such a nice talk. Actually, I saw your presentation. You have stabilized the nanoemulsion for 80 days. But I hope, I believe it should be stable for more than 80 days. Instead of making the nanoemulsion, this is a suggestion. Maybe you can try for high internal phase emulsion ratio. In that case, we can reduce the amount of one of the dispersed phase, and instead of making the nanoemulsion, we can make a gel-like emulsion, and that have a more application for the topical delivery of the drug.
Yeah, it's a good suggestion. It's stable at least for 80 days. We didn't study the stability more than 80 days. I think that it's stable more than 80 days.
Yes, ma'am. Yes. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
So thank you very much, Dr. Gosling, for giving such a nice talk. Thank you so much. Let's have a big hand of applause.
Thank you.
Thank you once again. Our next speaker is Professor Sanjay Kumar Mandal. Professor Sanjay Kumar Mandal is currently a faculty member in the Department of Chemical Sciences at IISER Mohali, India. He also served as the Dean Academics at IISER Mohali. Prior to joining IISER Mohali in August 2008 as one of the first faculty members, he spent over 20 years in the US, including earning his PhD in chemistry under the guidance of legendary Professor Albert Patton at Texas A&M University. His career is equally divided in academia and industry for the past 3 decades. His research interests span across several subfields of chemistry with a special emphasis on multifunctional nanomaterials, crystal engineering, organometallic chemistry, and X-ray crystallography. He teaches a broad range of courses at the BS and MS and PhD level, basic and advanced inorganic organometallic chemistry, bioinorganic chemistry, advanced industrial chemistry, chemical crystallography, and supramolecular chemistry. He is recognized for expertise in catalysis, polymer chemistry, fluorine chemistry, X-ray crystallography, and Six Sigma methodologies. He has published over 250 peer-reviewed articles in international journals, monographs, and technology reports. He has also contributed to 60 US and international patents, invention disclosures, and trade secrets. Now I request Professor Mandal to deliver the talk, please. Professor Mandal, please.
Thank you, Professor Kate. Let me get the permission to share my screen. I was trying to do that. Somehow I'm not getting that. I think that I need to get that change over.
Professor Mandal,
there's
the option, see the green icon at the
share
bottom.
Screen. When I'm doing share
share
screen,
it there. Yeah, you share. You click over there.
When I'm sharing screen, now I get it. Okay.
Yeah, you'll get it definitely. Yeah.
First of all,
it's visible now.
I thank you all who are the organizers and specifically two stalwarts of NIT Chemistry Department, Professor Kait and Professor Kotial, and also Professor Sud, and all of you know very well that this type of conference takes a lot of effort, and I can imagine that how much it took to put together, but it is very nice. And thank you for inviting me to be part of this. And today I want to discuss something very important that is for environment. As advertised, the multifunctional emerging nanomaterials for environment applications would be the title of my talk. Already Professor Mehta talked about porous materials. I just want to touch base a little bit on the fact that you have to have something inside the pores, whether it is fluid or gas, because nature doesn't like voids. And porosity is defined by the total pore volume relative to the apparent volume of the material and composition of the material. And all of these are around us. I don't have to emphasize anymore. And in this particular slide, already it has been mentioned the pore size, but what I want to mention for the talk is that if you have purely zeolite, purely inorganic, that is zeolite, and if you have the metal organic framework, that is the hybrid, because purely organic is nothing but covalent organic framework or even carbon black. Now, when you have this idea of porous material, you can get different
Professor Mandal,
your
slides are not moving.
Acha, okay.
Anji, or full screen कीजिए please.
I am doing full screen.
नहीं आ रही sir, full screen नहीं.
Now is it coming?
Yeah, but it's visible, no problem. Yeah,
is
now
it
slides are moving. Now slides are moving, no problem.
Okay, okay. All right. So what I talked is that when you have the based on framework porous material, you can have purely inorganic, that is zeolite, and then purely organic, what is covalent organic framework, and the mixture is the metal organic framework. And in this particular case, what happens that you could really imagine that how do I know that I have microporous, macroporous, or non-porous or mesoporous material? In measuring their BED surface area, we have the International Union of Pure and Applied Chemistry that has defined type 1, type 2, type 3, all the way type 6. And you can see type 1, when you have this kind of curve, you get to see microporous. On the other hand, type 4 and type 5, which are mesoporous, they also have something called hysteresis loop. That means its absorption and desorption don't come in the same line. Is the slide moving? Slide is moving.
Okay.
Professor Kait, is slide moving?
Sir, it's not moving.
Okay. See,
Yes,
whenever
now
I'm giving,
now moving, yes, sir.
See what is happening. If I put into the slide mode, it is not moving. I don't know why.
Okay, yeah.
But,
Maybe something problem.
right. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to have this without that. So now for my talk, as I have said, that old porous material is zeolite. Look at 1756 when it was coined by Axel Constate. And all of you know that it is nothing but the sodium aluminum silicate. But on the other hand, metal organic frameworks formally got the year of birth 1995, while covalent organic framework got the year of birth 2005. So these are the two pillars of the emerging nanomaterials that interest us. Now, if you want to understand what has happened in the MOF chemistry, this slide shows right here in 1995, formal introduction is there, but exponentially, look at every year, almost 6,000 to 8,000 new structures of MOF reported, and over 4,000 to 5,000 papers are reported. Okay, so this is a phenomena that is taking a big deal. Why? Because you see, compared to other two materials, that is zeolite and copper, you can have chemical tunability, because in zeolite you have the pore size fixed, but here, as I will show you, that you can tune the pore size, and you can also do the high surface area. On the other hand, anisoselective catalysis is only possible with MOFs, not by zeolite. Okay. The figure right here gives you another important information. On the y-axis, you have BET surface area in meters square per gram, and you have zeolite is close to 1,000, silica is about that. In parentheses, you have that pore volume, which is 0.3 in case of zeolite. But look at here, in 2012, something is as large as 7,000, okay, and pore volume is 4.4. In our laboratory, we got this pore volume over 4.8. I'll show you that picture also, right? Now, as I said, how do you tune the surface area? You just have this carboxylate in this MOF 2 to go to MOF 5. You go from 270 to 2900, and you increase the length of this carboxylate, and it goes to 4500. And this is how you can have the tuning of the surface area and pore volume. Now, many people think that, well, you need to have some exotic material. But look at here, microporous manganese formate. You know, manganese formate is a very well-known compound, has a surface area of 240 meters square per gram, which is close to the mesoporous, microporous zeolite. And its H2 uptake is even higher than that ZSM5, which is very well-known zeolite. So you don't have to look around what you have to do. You have to know what you need to do. So very quickly, what is the design behind MOFs and COFs? In MOFs, you have organic linker with metal ions. That is the coordination chemistry self-assembly. You get the solid state structure. In COP, you have the conjugate items that if you have amine and aldehyde, you can combine them in a correct ratio to get into this type of solid state structure. For the students, you can look at this review, 141 page that has been published. One of my students who did postdoc with Vittel. And then for COP, we have published 106 page review article, invited review article in Material Science. You can look at it. Okay. Now comes the theme that you have the MOFs and COPs and you want to apply them. They are applied in sensing, heterogeneous catalysis, carbon capture, chemical separation, drug delivery, etc. But what it is actually material that you make to apply. So you cannot think that I'll make a material and then do the application. Rather, you need to understand what is required and then you make the material. Okay. So today I'm going to talk about sensing and the carbon capture and sequestration. Before I do that, this is a simple message I want to give it to the students. You see that if you don't have the obstacles, you don't get opportunities. And if you don't have challenges, you don't get excited. Okay. So in doing research, you first need to find out the opportunities. So you find what are the obstacles in doing that. And one more important thing I want to tell you is that we all are working to make materials, whether you're organic chemist or inorganic chemist, we make material for their application in various fields, okay? So therefore, in this particular case, you should be talking yourself as a material scientist, no matter what. Now coming to this, we need to understand why it is important that we have to sequester CO2. Now by 2020, we have reached to 418 ppm on Earth level. And why it is happening? Because major contributors like automobile and industry are creating that. And it also affects, the temperature change and the sea level change that is shown here. Now, what are the current technologies? There are 3. Microprocess support with amine, but it is high energy consumption. Zeolite sorbents, it is sensitive to temperature change. And amine scrubbing, that is there for high energy consumption also. And all these papers can be checked to look at the details. But what we are doing with MOFs and COFs, we want to do selective capture of CO2 over end-to-end methane. I'll tell you why selectivity is required. And then we also can do the fixation of CO2 reacting with epoxide to get the cyclic carbonate. So what are the theme to design the MOFs? You can have open metal site. Suppose you have a paddle wheel structure where you have 4 carboxylate to 2 metal center, but the axial ligand is open or can be removed. Or you can have functionalized ligand where you have nitrogen or oxygen moieties that can interact. In case of COP, you can have the design where you have NH or N for hydrogen bonding, and of course the pi-pi interaction to do this kind of thing, right? So with this theme, I'm going to show you one from the COP of our research and one from MOP, okay? So in designing this MOP, which was published in Chemistry of Materials, what we have done, we have taken this tetramine with the trialdehyde and we got this COP, and we have characterized by various techniques like PXRD, where we could tell you what is the structure, what is the stacking, and all those. But more importantly, by SCM, TM, and AFM, we know exactly what it is. And we have done the nitrogen absorption, and you can see that at 77K, which gives you this surface area values. And then we also tested its stability in base and acid. It didn't decrease much. From this, we know that the pore width is 2.5 nanometer, and from the structural analysis, we know it came about 2.9, which is very close to the experimental value. This is what I was talking about, that nitrogen absorption is the real data when theoretical value can give you something, right? So we then look at the gas absorption CO2 here, and we find out that CO2 is pretty good even at 313 Kelvin. On the other hand, if you do CH4, that goes to about 7 at 313 K. And here we have also looked at 195, which goes to almost 375, okay? And we found that we can really recycle. That means this material after 3 cycles is giving the same, and all after vapor absorption, it is remaining the same at 3 different temperatures. Based on this data, we looked at 2 things. One is because the flue gas has a carbon dioxide to nitrogen 5 to 95 to 30 to 70 after post-combustion, and landfill gas has CO2 to CH4 at 50-50, and natural gas has CO2 to CH4 10 to 90 to 5 to 95. That's why we have to have selectivity at this ratio. So if you look at the left side, you would find the selectivity at 313K is very high for CO2 compared to nitrogen and hydrogen at this ratio. And then if you go to 298, this even goes higher, which is close to 1.8. And then when you look at the ratio 595 to 3070, you can see that this is very high selectivity for CO2. Okay. Similarly, we have the same thing. So this shows that our material can do it. We have done some DFT calculations, GCMC simulation, and we can tell you exactly what is going on. Briefly, I can tell you that binding energy for CO2 is much lower than that of methane, and here is the selectivity again for 50-50. So therefore, in this interaction mode, you see that CO2 binds pretty well. And chemical fixation for this cyclic carbonate, we have done surface scope, and you can see that here 98% can be when you have the methyl, 95% when you have the chloro. And we have looked at its recyclability, stability before and after catalysis through PXRD as well as ACM. And the mechanism can be seen in the paper, but here basically that bromide is opening and then CO2 is getting activated to get the cyclic carboxylate, cyclic carbonate. The second paper is with a MOP, which was designed for heterogeneous catalysis, but for the sake of this CO2, I'm going to tell you, this is a design where you have the ligand, which is carboxylate with NN bond, and we have hydrogen bonding and that kind of stuff. This is the crystal structure, which shows you have 1 nanometer by 1 nanometer pore. And if you look at the sphere from ACM, this is 8,000 diameter. That means I have actually 8 micron diameter. That means I have 8,000 of those pores in this sphere. Okay. And here again, we have that pore size close to 0.73 that is decided from the gas absorption and crystallography. So here again, what is very important, this has become very size selective. You see that we have shown that as you increase the size, your yield goes down, right? Your conversion 100, 100, 100 goes to 31 as soon as you go to the propyl group. So this is actually showing that the CO2 activation is happening within the pore, because we look at not only the starting material, but also the product side, because product has to come out. And this size selectivity is very rare at room temperature and balloon pressure. The last one, which is not published, but I can share with you a little bit, that is a cubic crystal. And here what we have done, we have doped the MOP with halides. See, sodium chloride, lithium chloride, lithium chloride. And we find that sodium chloride table salt increases your body surface area from 400 to all the way to 1400. But what it is important to note here, that the pore size is same, but pore volume goes to 4.75 that I mentioned earlier in my talk. So here, if I doped the MOP with the halides, sodium chloride, I get increment of the weight percent CO2 from 27 to 67. And here you can see that weight percent of CO2 versus temperature is also there, because at higher temperature, you have less absorption, right? So sodium chloride gives you about 19 molecules there. And here's the real application. What is the real application? Real application is that we took this material and we had the ambient air passing through. In Aijar Mohali in 2017, this was about 412 ppm of CO2. And when we pass through, it goes to 402. Then again, we did this 3 times, and we can lower down to below 398 ppm of CO2 using our material at room temperature in presence of water and all those stuff. Second part of my talk is on the sensing. We are going to talk about the trinitrophenol and danite. Danite is the ammonium salt of trinitrophenol, and volatile organic compounds are there. I2 and renate are very important, because these are connected to the radioactive waste, I2 and technate, right? I will not have time for copper and cadmium. So let's look at a little bit why we are interested in sensing and how we do it. It is fluorescence based. All of you know Jablonski diagram, and here you can find out that you have the fluorescence and phosphorescence, but we are interested in fluorescence, which is in the nanosecond regime, okay? So just like for CO2, I want to mention, how do you design a probe? You have a signaling unit and you have recognition unit. So analyte actually is recognized by this part of the probe, and with sensitivity, selectivity, quick response time, and recyclability, you have to succeed. And when you do fluorescence, you have these details. The output can enhance it, quench it, or it can have a enhancement with the shift of wavelength, and you can also have riscometric shift. So based on this observation, you can calculate how great is your stuff. As I said, I'm going to take 1 cup. Here again, we have used a trihaldehyde and naphthalene diamine, and we got this cup made and characterized. And again, we do extensive characterization by SEM, TEM, and AFM. And here is the fluorescence microscopy, which is very important to see the color is green. And we have looked at different volatile organic components, compounds that chlorobenzene, bromobenzene, and all the stuff. And we could do a plot of lifetime versus quantum yield to show you that you tell me orthoxylene, metaxylene, or paraxylene, I can tell you where they are coming. And by fluorescent microscopy also, we could look at their changes. On the other hand, when you look at the TNP, you can see it is very selective, and through fluorescence microscopy, we can see that the green color is gone. And visually, you can also see that what is happening with this, right? And we did the filter paper test also to tell you what is the detection limit. And always you have to show the stability and recyclability. We have done through small angle excess scattering, and we also have looked at by TGA of different solvents. And here again, we can tell you that the VOCs of different quantum yield versus lifetime versus intensity. We can tell you if you have unknown stuff, we can tell you it is mesitylene based on this map. Second one is a MOP, and here again, you can look at the synthesis in this paper. But what I want to tell you, it's a beautiful system where you have the fingerprint by TEM, and we see that this has, you know, DAPI, FITC, rhodamin B, that means all three color. When you did the quantum microscopy, people thought it's a protein, but it is inorganic compound. And here you can find out from the same analysis that danite, that is the ammonium salt, has 170 ppb, TNP is 500 ppb. And danite was the one that was used in World War II, by the way. So my student was brave enough to make it in the lab. And from this visual, you can see danite versus TNP compared to the MOP that is there. And of course, we have done many others, and I'm going to skip all this stuff to show that, yes, we have fast quenching and some mechanism, okay? And here is
Professor Mandal, can you conclude within 2 minutes, please? We're running
I'll
short
try.
of
I have very little to discuss. Here is the iodine part. You can look at the 3D manganese MOP, where we have done multimedia iodine sensing, whether it is in aqueous media, cyclohexane, or vapor phase. And we have found that it can be also brought back. That means you can recycle, released in ethanol. We did the Raman, where you can show the peak corresponding to I3 minus, I5 minus, and the PXRD shows that absorbed I2 has no effect on the crystallinity or the structure. From Monte Carlo simulation, we can show you what are the interaction, and binding energy is minus 13 kcal per mole, right? And last part of my talk is going to tell you about the far-renate. Why it is important? Because it is, as I told you, that far-tignate is a major radioactive waste. We cannot touch far-tignate because it is radioactive. So far-renate is a surrogate for that. And here we have used two different MOP. We first looked at the far-renate sensitivity in water, and we find it is very good. And therefore, when we look at the far-renate, permanganate, dichromate, chromate, all this stuff, we see that far-renate has given us pretty good quenching. And we looked at the mechanism where we find that the time resolve does not change the tau, that is the lifetime. So it is a static in both cases. And based on the structural investigation by PXRD, you can see that as synthesized versus after sensing, there is no change. And based on the calculation, we see it is PET that is doing it. And here is the far-renate interacting not only with the NH, which is expected to be very good, hydrogen bonding, but also the interaction with the metal center, and binding energy minus 7 kcal per mole. So today what I have done, I have given you some idea that the environmental pollutants as well as the CO2, which is a major greenhouse gas, can be tackled with MOP or COP with proper design. And I would like to end my talk thanking people who have done it. Today I have talked mostly the work by Prosenjit, who is in Berlin right now, and then Gauri Chakraborty, Alisa Gogai, and Siva. Right? These are the people. This is the old picture. And I would like to thank the facilities in Nigel Mohali, former students and collaborators, and funding from MHRD and DST. Thank you for your kind attention.
Professor Mandal, thank you so much for your excellent talk. Thank you so much. Let's have a big hand of applause.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. So, with this, we conclude today's first session, inaugural session, that's session 1. In this session, we had 3 speakers. Professor S.K. Mehta, he was the first speaker. He delivered the keynote address. He delivered keynote address on star-bound mediated porous metal oxide nanocomposites as efficacious catalytic materials. And then we had 2 plenary talks. First talk was from Gosselin Bacloff from University of Paris, Saclay, France. She delivered talk on biopolymers as an alternative to synthetic surfactants for stabilizing emulsions for pharmaceutical applications. And next talk was by Professor K. Mandal from Indian Institute of Science, Education and Research, Mohali. He delivered the plenary talk on multifunctional emerging nanomaterials for environmental applications. We thank all the 3 speakers for the successful delivery of talks in the first session of this international conference. Thank you so much, sir. And thanks, everybody. So, sir, we should leave. Yeah, to leave, correct?
Okay, so very good morning to all. I'm audible.
Yes.
Sir, am I audible?
Yes, Samir.
Okay, so very good afternoon, sir. So now the session 3rd start. So very good morning. Very good afternoon to all dignitaries and participants. So my name is Samir Maurya, coordinator of this session, and another coordinator in this session, Himanshu Chauhan, and I welcome you all join this session 3rd. This session will be covered in themes sensor and actuator, material and electronic, and material for energy and material for catalysis. Now I would like to introduce today session chair for this session, the Professor P. Pradeep from Department of Physics in National Institute of Technology, Calicut, and along with co-chair of this session, Dr. Raman Bedi, Associate Professor, Department of Mechanical Engineering in National Institute of Technology, Jalandhar, and next co-chair of this session, Dr. Kiran Singh, Assistant Professor of Department of Physics in NIT Jalandhar, and another co-chair of this session is Dr. Uma Shankar, Assistant Professor for Department of Chemistry, NIT Jalandhar. And before starting the session, I would like to inform to all the participants we are bounded with the time limit, so we have from 5 minutes are all the presentation, in 3 minutes for the presentation and 2 minutes for a questions answer. And now I am hand over this session for a session chair and co-chair. So I will call you as MC. Oh, sorry, material for catalysis, poster number 1.
Hello, Samir. Hello.
Hanji.
Samir, sorry for the interruption.
Okay.
Just a second. I have one announcement for Dr. I.D. Sharma.
Okay.
Sir, your poster oral presentation has been scheduled in hall number 2, session number 2. at 1:30 p.m. today. So
Okay,
you
ma'am.
have
Okay.
to join that link, hall number 2, session number 2.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, it will be at 1:30 p.m. today. So
Okay, okay,
yeah,
okay,
you
ma'am.
can join accordingly.
But
Actually,
there is.
They dropped a message on chat box. I don't think.
Yeah. I got it.
Okay. Okay, sir. Thank you.
actually, I
So
inform you. Actually, I inform you now. This session is started session 3rd. Okay, as for a poster presentation. Okay, so firstly, I call you for material for a catalysis. Poster number 1, Manek Sarkar. Are you there?
Yes, sir. Am I audible?
Yeah. You can continue. Okay.
Sir, is this visible poster?
No. Oh, now visible. Now visible.
Okay, sir. Hello. Good afternoon, everyone. Today, I will start this session by introducing myself first and then by presenting my poster. I am Moinak Sharkar, a research scholar of University of Kolani under the supervision of Professor Sheikh Munirul Islam. The title of my poster is Light-Induced Carboxylation of Aryl Derivative with Cooperative COF as active photocatalyst and nickel as co-catalyst. Okay, so now let me explain. Here we have represented the photocatalytic carboxylation of aryl derivative under CO2 atmospheric pressure using a mesoporous covalent organic framework named TPPPA1 as a photocatalyst and nickel DMG as a co-catalyst. We have also used TEA as a sacrificial electron source and acetonitrile as a solvent. Under visible light, basically the wavelength is around 455 nanometer and got a yield of approximately 90% of the carboxylated product. Basically, when the reaction is also done in sunlight, but we have got an yield, poor yield, about 32%. 32%. Okay. So basically, COF is a covalent organic framework, is a photocatalyst, which is a tunable chemical characters like crystalline nature, porous structure, high surface area. So it can be used in various chemical reactions as catalyst. As in the previous lecture, Professor Mondal was delivering the same thing. So in recent year, the carboxylation of the aryl derivative with CO2 under visible light has been explored a lot, but they were a maximum multi-step and which got a poor yield, and as many hazardous byproduct are formed as byproduct. But here we have used COF as a heterogeneous catalyst, which is easily recyclable and separable also. So basically, COF, the thing, covalent organic framework, we have prepared this COF TPPA by, let me show you. Okay, basically, this is the COF. Is this visible, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Basically, this is the structure of the COF, a covalent organic framework. It is also have pi conjugation, and it is very effective for light-induced any reaction. We have prepared this by condensing of TFT, triformal fluorouracil and paraphenyl diamine, and by reacting this using PTAC, paratoluene sulfonic acid as a mixture and water as a solvent hydrothermally in a Teflon line sealed autoclave for 90 hours at 90 degree temperature for 16 hours. We have characterized this COF by using PXRD, SAME, TAME, IR, BET. So as you see, the PXRD pattern of this covalent organic framework, which shows a peak at
Manak, please make it faster because the time has completed 3 minutes, which are designated for you. So please conclude the results.
Okay, sir. Sorry. Basically, we have characterized this COF by using PXRD, which shows an angle of about 4.7 which indicates its crystalline nature, and then second peak as 27.7, which basically indicates its pi stacking layered structure. We have also show the IR pattern, the bait surface area, which shows the type 4 pattern, and of around the pore volume of 0.278 centimeter cube per gram, and area of 199.83 meters square per gram. We have also characterized this using same and tame, which shows this rod-like structure, and it's from the tame it is very visible. It's the porous structure. We have applied this in the application of the carboxylation of this aryl derivative. We have used the iodobenzene as the basic form, and different substrate scope has been done. With any electron withdrawing group, it shows definitely higher yield, or any electron donating group, it shows relatively lower yield. Okay, sir. That's all. We have also done the cyclic voltammetry XPS analysis for characterizing this material.
Okay. So I have one query, like your title, which is submitted and which you have presented, is having bit difference. So why this is so?
So basically, I have submitted. Basically, I submitted the abstract, which was a general, I mean, the preparation of cough for catalyst. And here in poster, I have chose the application-based part.
Anik, may I ask you one question?
Yes, sir, definitely.
But you want to conclude from XRD, and in the x-axis, why it is 2 theta, why not theta?
Sorry, sir, please repeat.
The question is, what conclusion you want to draw from X-ray diffraction? You said it is crystalline. And in the x-axis, it is 2 theta. Why it is 2 theta? Can you explain me?
Okay, sir. Here we have depicted the PXRD pattern, which shows the first peak at 4.7, which basically depicts the 100 plane, which shows, we actually prove the crystalline nature of that curve. 4.7. At a 2 theta value of 4.7.
You mean if you have one peak, then you can say that it is crystalline?
Sir, according to literature, we have studied that.
Okay, so why it is x-axis, why it is 2 theta? Can you explain me?
X-axis 2 theta.
See, you can see your axial plot. It is plotted as intensity as a function of 2 theta. So my question is, why it is 2 theta?
Sir, we have calculated the plane distance by using the Bragg's law.
That is Manik, that is correct. Sir is simply asking, in the XRD data, there are x-axis and there are y-axis. On the x-axis, it is written 2 theta. On the y-axis, it is intensity in AU. Okay. So my question is, why it is not theta? Why it is written as 2 theta? The x-axis. You see the x-axis, it is written 2 theta bracket degree.
Yes,
so why not it is theta? Why it is 2 theta? That is the question.
Sorry, sir. I couldn't remember.
Okay, go ahead.
No problem.
Uma Shankar, sir, we can ask the next.
Okay, sir. I think we have to call next because there are lots of big list, and we have
to stick with time.
Yeah. Yes. Next one, please.
Okay, sir.
So everyone listen carefully. Please focus on your work and please try to finish your presentation within 3 minutes so that we can ask the question or audience can ask the question.
Okay. Next is the Deep Kumar Nandi. Deep Kumar Nandi, are you there?
Yes,
so
sir.
please continue. Okay.
Yes, sir. Welcome everyone. Am I visible?
Yes, visible. Yes, go ahead.
I have done my poster on basis of the utilization of CO2. Nowadays, we can see that the carbon dioxide concentration in atmosphere is increasing. So I want to utilize various chemicals using the heterogeneous porous organic polymer. Here you can see that I made it triazine-based porous organic polymer, and then it was embedded using zinc to enhance the catalytic activity. You can see the structure here, and I have done the characterization. You can see the IS spectrum. IS spectrum was done using two different methods. First one we did without the metal, and second we did with metal, zinc. And here it is the XRD data, and we saw the TGA analysis. From the thermogrammetric analysis, we see that it is stable in various temperatures. So we can do various reactions at wide range of temperature. And as we see the into absorption capacity, we can see this type of curve which show high surface area, and then it is almost 280 meters square per gram. The pore area is high, so it can absorb more chemicals inside the area, and the nature of its pores can be seen by the same and TEM data. You can see this here. Now we want to utilize the CO2 from atmosphere, we did the N-methylation reaction. The scheme is shown here. As you can see, the hydrogen from this amine group is replaced, and one methyl and methane group is replaced here. N-methylation reaction was done using zinc embedded TZTF pop. And the reaction condition here we use is 80 degrees Celsius, which is not so high, and the reaction is complete within 12 hours. And the more interesting thing is it is very recyclable. We use this catalyst for 5 consecutive times, and we saw that the yield is decreasing slightly, but that is not very low. And again, we did the reaction with and without catalyst. As we can see that after 15 hours, there is almost 98% yield, but without catalyst, there is very yield percentage is very low. And so from this, we just showed one reaction for chemical utilization of CO2, but we can do carbamate formation and another CO2 fixation reactions here. So we can conclude this by saying that this is a very efficient recyclable catalyst from which various types of CO2 fixation reaction can be done.
Okay, Mr. Deep, tell me one thing. How you are sure that the total CO2 has been converted during the alkylation reaction?
As we use CO2 balloons, we can measure the consumptions from here. As the amount of the air inside the balloon decreases, we can see that the CO2 inside the balloon was used up. And okay, as one time we used up, we again refueled the balloon with CO2.
Okay, I understand. My second query is, during the recyclability experiment, have you tested the stability of this material, zinc at the rate TZTOP? How yes, you are sure that its phase is not changing, or it is not degrading, or zinc is not leaching to your reaction medium? So have you checked?
I tested the stability. You can see the yield is slightly decreasing because
that is okay. That is okay. The yield is decreasing. My point is that what is happening to the catalyst which you have used?
Yes, I think that the pores inside the porous organic material gets blocked somehow.
Okay, but some evidence is required to
some confirm. Evidence is required, of course, but we did not emphasize on that much.
Okay. Dr. Kiran, do you have any query on this?
It's fine, but Deep, can you show me the XRD pattern? Go up. Yeah. So why you are having the hump around 25 degree to theta? Do you know what is the origin for this one? Your background is not flat. You have sharp peak at higher angle, but around 30, you are having the broad hump. Why it is so?
This is because of the nature of this amorphous porous organic polymer. This is a, as you can see from literature, this is a characteristic hump we can see in such kind of porous organic polymers.
So you mean it is amorphous plus crystalline?
No, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Deep
So,
Kumar.
so next
one.
is Surya Das. Surya Das, are you there? So please continue.
Yes, sir.
Please share your presentation.